Hey everybody, welcome to the Investing Education channel. So, as you can see on the screen today, I want to talk about a topic that I think is one of the most important topics when investing. That's basically trying to find the moat behind the company that you would like to invest in. I really think that is one of the critical factors. Especially for me, when I'm looking for companies, I look for very high quality companies. And what I mean by high quality companies is actually that these companies must have a very strong moat. So what exactly is the moat? And how do you identify when you have a company that has a strong moat? So on the screen, I've listed down some criteria that helps establish whether a company has a moat. And I'd like to go through this. And I'll link it to some of the companies I own as well. So let's start. So the first one you see on the screen is the network effect. So what is a network effect? Basically, the addition of one party or one person to a particular, product or service increases the the attractiveness of that service to other people. And a classic example of this would be Facebook, right? So, I mean, you wouldn't be on Facebook if your friends and family were not on Facebook as well, or Instagram. And so, I think the network effect is one of the strongest modes, and it also has a very good return on equity. So, companies that can establish this kind of network effect are really hard to compete against. Another example is Amazon as well, because Amazon has this marketplace, right? And so how it works again is, the more merchants there are on the site, on the marketplace, the more customers will come to that website, right, to look for products. And then, it acts like a flywheel. The more customers that come, that means more merchants want to sell their products on the marketplace. And, it keeps adding and adding like a virtuous cycle. Another example would be, Visa, right? So same thing again, right? One merchant sets up a Visa terminal and starts accepting Visa cards. Customers start using those Visa cards. And since more customers are using those Visa cards, more merchants want to accept those Visa cards. And so it keeps improving and improving, right? So I really look out for companies that have strong network effects, and I find those companies are very attractive to invest in. Another type of mode is the high switching cost. So I think example of this is mainly software companies. One example I think that I'm in researching is Shopify. So basically, Shopify helps small merchants set up an e-commerce website, right? And so you have to learn how to use their interface, you have to learn how to use their software, their tools, and so on. And once you've used all of that and learned how to use it, you don't want to learn something else, even if there's a marginal advantage in using another product or it may be cheaper. You've already learned everything you need to know about Shopify, so you're going to stick to it. And it's going to be difficult to wean yourself off it. Another example is intuitive as well, I think, right? Once your hospital installs the Da Vinci machine and your doctors have learned how to use the Da Vinci machine, you're not going to install another robotic software just, for the sake of it, unless there's a huge improvement, because all the doctors have already learned how to use the Da Vinci machine. And so, you want to maximize your return on giving them that training and that knowledge. So high switching costs are another type of competitive advantage. Another important type of competitive advantage I would say is the brand or trust a company has. This is very important perhaps in fashion or in consumer products or even consumables, right? So one example of a company with a very strong brand is Apple, right? The Apple brand really, makes people think of luxury and privilege and good service, right? Another example is Nike. When you think of Nike, you think of Michael Jordan, you think of LeBron, you think of all these great sportsmen, and you want to be like them as well. And it can also be in terms of food. I mean, for example, Nestle, right? You think of Nestle products, you know they are going to be safe to eat. You're not going to trust another product, just because it's cheaper. You want to trust a product that has had a long track record of safety, basically. Another type of competitive advantage I would say is the low cost supplier. I will put Amazon in this category because it has such a wide spread network and it has economies of scale. It's able to sell its products at really low cost or low margin. Another example would be, of course, the company that popularized this, perhaps Costco, right? You could even say McDonald's is an example of this. They have, I don't know how many restaurants, maybe 30,000. And because all those 30,000 are ordering the same ingredients, they're able to get great leverage on their pricing. Another example of this is actually in the finance world is Vanguard, right? And Blackrock. And this is in terms of the index funds. The reason why they're able to charge such low fees is because they attract so many types of investments into their funds, and so they have those economies of scale, basically. Another type of mode I would say is the distribution network. I'm thinking here of maybe the paint company, Sherwin Williams, right? So I mean anybody could sell paint, but Sherwin Williams have built up a distribution network in terms of the number of shops, that are promoting and selling their brand, and in terms of the partners they have that they do business with. So these kind of things take a long time to build up. They don't change overnight either, right? So Sherwin Williams, companies like Coke as well, I mean they have set up networks across the world. Even if you go to a very undeveloped part of a third world country, you'll probably still see a shop selling some Coke there. So that's how extensive their distribution network is. Another type of mode I think is the license, basically. You have a bank, for example, that has a banking license. So not everyone gets that license, right? So to say Wells Fargo here, and you have Bank of America and a few other banks, right? But Square, I think, is another company that's trying to apply for a license, and so it hasn't got it yet. So you have to fulfill certain requirements to be able to get the license. License, of course, also applies to telcos. They also need to get licenses to operate their business. I think another type of mode is the high capex business. What comes to mind here is maybe Boeing, and I'll get to Boeing in a bit as well, because it's been in the news, right? So of course, to have a airplane company, you need to have huge factories. You need to have huge amount of infrastructure to be able to contain these massive planes and to build these massive planes. And of course you need to have the training, the skilled workforce and so on to be able to pull off building such planes. Utility companies also, I guess, they also require a lot of capex, a lot of capital expenditure. Space companies as well. So it's not easy to compete. You must have a lot of money, basically, if you want to compete with these companies. I just thought of another competitive advantage. I'm going to put that down as intellectual property. I think here you're talking about companies that have certain rights to patents, for example. They could basically be biotech companies, right? Or they could be companies in the tech industry as well, right? Apple, I'm sure, has a lot of patents. I believe Qualcomm also has a lot of patents, and Apple and Qualcomm are actually disputing over certain intellectual property rights as well. So guys, those are a list of some of the competitive advantages I think that are very important to identify in companies. So the real money account has been doing well so far in March. Uh, I actually may make a purchase. Boeing has come down quite a bit. If it does fall to a price range I'm interested in, I might even make a purchase, and I'll sure let you guys know. So in the meantime, everyone, have fun and have a great day.